Power Monday was started in 2020 and it runs every Monday. Its objective is to share knowledge, share learning. On Saturday, we were attending workshop somewhere for leadership, and we were having this gentleman called Julius Kipngetich, and he was distilling the aim of life into just two things: sharing knowledge and love. You see, so because knowledge illuminates life, and therefore Power Monday helps you to learn from different people, different experts from different fields, so that you are on the know. You are able to make business, professional, career decisions, uh, informed decisions. And so we welcome you and we appreciate your time joining in. And we discuss lots and lots of things from different subjects. Some people have been here for all those 5 years. Others are joining for the first time probably today. And all of us are welcome and encouraged to feel part of the community. Beyond just meeting on Zoom, we nowadays have several other programs, including meet and greets that come like next month, last Saturday of July every year. We have a meet and greet. Last Saturday of March, we have a meet and greet. And we also have a dinner at the end of October. So those are dates you can always mark if you are within the neighborhoods of Nairobi or can make it. That would be great. You continue to grow network and build yourself. Otherwise, I'd like to bring in Nancy Mora. She will introduce the speaker and then we get started.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone from County 046. Allow me to go straight to introduce our speaker today. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a dynamic map that is a mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineer. And BIM, ladies and gentlemen, tough words, these ones. BIM means building information modeling, innovator with over 18 years in the construction industry. He has engaged with teams across continents and championed BIM adoption to revolutionize workflows. Beyond engineering, he has won many hearts, serving his church as an evangelist. He has volunteered as a missionary to South Korea immediately after his graduation back in 2001-2003. He has served in his church in several positions, including a leader of the Adventist Men Organization in Nairobi area. Wow. He has worked as a plant manager for Biofoods Limited, construction site manager for the Contemporary Electricals and Telecommunications Company Limited. He started his own engineering firm, Abu Engineering Limited, which has been in existence since 2008. Ladies and gentlemen, he has worked in Japan for a company, Habiba Japan, that is from 2010 to 2011. Ladies and gentlemen, Kathiany is an avid scholar, merging hands-on expertise with academic rigor. With a master's in engineering management from the UK University of Hull, that is an ongoing MSc, in artificial AI for architecture and construction, a Japanese language studies certification, and roots in mechanical engineering from Kenya Polytechnic, is currently based in China, where he works with KNCCI as he pursues business interests and supports his church in China, where religious interactions between expatriate and local communities is highly restricted. That is amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, queens and kings, today we are thrilled to share how we can build the future not just with steel and wires, but collaborations and bold ideas. With a clap and with a standing ovation, allow me to invite today's speaker, Mr. Abu. Karibu.
Just unmute now. Good.
Okay. All right. Now, thank you so much for the opportunity and great privilege to be with you guys this morning and to be able to share from my experiences and from my journey. And I hope that we will all be able to learn together. One of the things that I have come to appreciate is that we must never limit ourselves. We must always be ready and equipping ourselves to face new challenges, whatsoever position you find yourself. It's important for us to always keep ourselves equipped and growing. My sister just mentioned a bit of my career and my training. Currently, I'm pursuing another master's degree in artificial intelligence in architecture and construction, because that is where things are going. I am 50 years old, by the way, but I was talking to a friend of mine, I think about 4 days ago, and she was saying, you know, when you have reached the ages that we have reached, you really don't have to now be excited about graduating in a new field or stuff like that, because at this age we should be caring about how we are raising our families, how we are taking care of our parents, and how we are living day by day. But we are living in a fast-paced world where things are changing so rapidly. And of course, we have learned that in a few decades to come, AI will replace many people in various vast industries. So it is important for you and I to keep equipping ourselves to become competitive, because we are living in a very, very, very competitive world. And so never slow down on equipping yourself in order to be able to face the challenges of this life, or else you will be cast aside and fresh blood will be injected, because each and every company, each and every organization is looking at growth, and they're looking at opportunities to be able to keep up the pace of technology and keep up the pace of development, as it were. And so one thing I want us to talk about today is how to thrive in Asia's booming market. Now, I will not specifically talk about Asia, because indeed it is true that populations in various parts of the globe are on the decline. Populations in Europe are on the decline. Populations in Canada are on the decline. One of the reasons why I looked up and saw why populations are on the decline is because of slowing birth rate, which is affecting people all over. And the economy, the world economy, people are feeling that they don't have time to be able to give their children the best. And so it has affected population growth globally. This population growth has not just been affected globally, but it has also affected nations like China, where I am currently. It has also affected the populations of Japan, where I was almost 20 years ago, almost 14 years ago. It has also affected South Korea, where I was about 30 years ago. And so I was just looking at a few statistics to confirm the population changes that have taken place. In South Korea, population growth is now at 1.1%, and they predict that by the year 2050, the population in South Korea would be about 45 million. Currently, it's about 52 million. So it will have declined by 7 million. The population of China has also been experiencing a steep decline consistently from the year 2020. Though it still has a large population, but the population is experiencing a steep decline. One of the reasons is because of the one-child policy that had been introduced long time ago, when they felt that the population of China was becoming unmanageable. And so the government introduced a one-child policy that each and every family could only have one child. But now they are suffering the consequences because Chinese have to import women from neighboring countries for marriage, because people preferred to have male children in those days. And of course, population of Japan is also rapidly aging. It's aging so fast. And so one of the reasons that the governments in these regions are toying with, is immigration. Why don't they allow other populations from different regions to come in and fill in the gap? And that's where you and I come in. But of course, these are advanced economies. So you can't come in with the old archaic skills that you learned many years ago, because you come to a place where construction is done in weeks. There are places where they do construction in weeks. They raise up buildings within a very short time here in China. And so you can't come with the old building technologies and techniques where you have to chonga mawe, push wheelbarrows, because things have been modernized, and things have been machines have been introduced in the building industry. And so it is important for us to be able to equip ourselves adequately. Now, this is not just in Asia. Of course, I'm focusing on Asia, but again, the same experience is also found in nations like Germany. I remember before we came to China, the first opportunity that we got was to go to Slovakia. Immediately after COVID, my wife and I decided when we realized that things were very tough. So my wife and I decided that we should look for opportunities across borders. And so since then, we had been consistently applying for jobs outside the country. And so the first one that we got several, but we were looking for places where both of us can go. Of course, as the Bible says, for this reason shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So we don't want to bring divisions in the unity that God has established. And of course, you know that distant relationships is one of the reasons why infidelity is also rife in our society. And so we were looking for opportunities where both of us could be taken in. So the first place where we got such an opportunity was Slovakia. And so Slovakia accepted. We were making applications to travel to Slovakia. And Slovakia, also, anytime we got a chance, we would look at the demographics of the nation. We will look at the opportunities in the nation, and we want to have a background of the place where we will go to. And so Slovakia Europe was also experiencing the same challenges that we find Asia is experiencing. But as we were processing our visas to go to Slovakia, and we had submitted all our documents to the Slovak embassy along Milimani Road in Kenya. As we had submitted our documents there, Chinese called. And when China called, they gave us an offer which was almost, I think, 3 times what we were going to receive in Slovakia. And so we just went to the embassy and we called. No, we had sent our documents to Slovakia so that they can be translated for onward presentation to the embassy. And so we called Slovakia, told them that please send us back our documents. We need renewals. I need renewals for my engineering licenses. My wife needs renewal for her teaching licenses. And so when they sent back the documents, we took the documents very fast and sent them to China. And so the point is that indeed, these crises are being experienced across the board. Now, one of the other nations that we almost got an opportunity to go to was Germany. Now, all these opportunities that we kept getting, we never used agents. We would just go online and apply directly to the institutions. And so we didn't have money to waste, so we could not engage agents. I see agents have taken advantage of people being lazy to be proactive. And so many have lost their monies because of that. But the point is, we just did it our own selves. And so the point is, the same challenges are being experienced all over, but Africa has a growing population. And the population of Africa and Africans are known to be hard workers. And so they have great opportunities to be able to go and fill in the gaps that are being created in all these nations that are finding themselves they cannot fulfill the employment needs that are growing within their borders. Now, the first thing that you need to start, that is just an introduction to what I'm going to talk about. But the first thing that we need to do is we need to start with self-preparation. We all need to prepare ourselves. By self-preparation, we need to equip ourselves with the right skills. Master a skill the world needs. Whether it's engineering, whether it's Mandarin, or trade logistics, or whether it be accounting. I have a friend of mine who, I went to Korea as a missionary. I made friends in Korea. I wanted to go back to Korea. But I met a friend of mine who applied on LinkedIn and got a job in Korea. She had no idea of what Korea offers and what Korea is, or the culture of the Koreans. So for me, I was also looking for opportunities to go to Korea. Then this friend of mine, she's a lady. She's an accountant. She got a chance to work in one of the leading banks in Korea. So she came to ask me how is Korea, and she just wanted to find a background of the community there. So the point is, we must equip ourselves and master the skills that the world needs. AI is becoming a very popular course, and there are many institutions and online programs that offer AI courses in different fields. I'm doing in architecture and construction, but it is offered in various fields because AI is applicable in almost all fields that you can think about. Secondly, language is a very good thing. Language is the first thing that got me out of the country. The first time I went to South Korea as a missionary. That time the church was looking to sending somebody to South Korea. And I was the only person in the church compound who people knew could speak a strange language. But then I had equipped myself with knowledge of the Japanese language, which I had learned for 2 years from between 1998 to 2000. So even before I left the country, I was already proficient in Japanese language. And actually, even before when we were doing our exam, I was the second student in Japanese language because I had passion for Japanese. And so when Chat got a chance to send somebody to South Korea, they just said, Abu is here. He's the only one who speaks those things. So I had this skill, and it opened a door for me. And since I had love for Japanese, immediately I landed in South Korea and started my mission work. I started applying for jobs in Japan. So between 2003 and 2004, every day, except when I was going to church, I would send CVs to different companies in Japan, because I knew that since I'm just next to Japan, I must get a chance to go to this country. And so I kept making applications over and over. One day, one person dared respond to me, and he said, I have received several CVs, and so you have to wait so that I can go through the CVs, shortlist, and then we will get back to you. I wrote a message immediately in Japanese. I told him, I'm from Kenya, and I know that people from across the globe have made applications. There are Canadians, the Australians, the Americans, the Britons, people from across the globe. I know you will not call me back. How will a Kenyan be on top of all these other nations? So I know you will not call me back. This guy, who later on became my boss in Japan, told me when he saw that mail, he said, this is a guy I'm going to give the job. And so he called me immediately, and he was bursting with laughter. He said, I read your mail, and I said, this is the person. He thinks I can't give him a job. I'll give him a job. And that is how I got my first job in Japan after my mission experience in South Korea. So the point is, equip yourself with the necessary skills that make you stand out of the competition. Secondly, third, we need to leverage Kenya's strengths. When you're seeking opportunities, now I'm in China, of course. China, it's almost like everyone in China is a technician. China has the largest number of engineers in any country across the globe. I heard that this guy of Tesla, what's his name? Elon Musk. Elon Musk, Tesla has its biggest plant here in China. So Elon Musk was saying that the reason why he established in China is because if he were to call engineers to fill a stadium in Los Angeles, and he calls engineers to fill a stadium in China, the stadium in China will be filled and overflowing with engineers more than the stadiums in the US. So he established his firm here, knowing that there were indeed more people. He established his plant in China, knowing that there were more people who he could use, and of course, the wages were lower. But again, you can't compare the wages here with the wages back home. And so it is important that we as a people also leverage Kenya's strengths. Now, one of the strengths that we have as a nation, of course, now I am not actively practicing as an engineer, but I keep equipping myself with the skills, and I keep visiting construction sites, just telling them when I'm free, I tell them, allow me to see how you guys are doing construction, because this is my career. I want to learn. I want to become the best engineer when I get back home. So apart from that, I work with the Kenyan National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, that is KNCCI. Now, once again, I want to mention one thing, even as you equip yourself with the necessary skills and look for every opportunity. Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry is an institution that has been set up by the government to promote businesses, private businesses among Kenyan businessmen and women with businesses outside the borders. That is what Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry does. It's a government department, but it focuses on private entities. So where in 2017, that was the first time I came to China. I came through an opportunity that was provided by Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So I invested money there, and they had a conference for businessmen. And so I joined in, and that is how I started my relationship with the Chinese. And so it was a forum, it was a platform where you get to meet different businesses, different businessmen in different fields. And so I created rapport and relationships at that point. But the point I'm trying to say is, let's leverage on the strengths that Kenya has. Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry indeed supports small businesses and large businesses in importing stuff to China. And so 60% of African flowers are sent to China. Why not yours? Why wouldn't you also get into this? Now, it doesn't have to be you have a flower farm like those big flower farms or Syrian in Naivasha. But you can also synergize. You can have a small piece of land. Actually, I'm talking about flowers. It gets about 60% of flowers. And again, it also gets about a great percentage of avocados from Kenya. Last year, I had invited people to join a seminar online that they would meet with Chinese businessmen who are looking to import avocados from Kenya, which I'm going to share with you shortly. So look at this, look at the opportunities that are there. Don't just focus on one thing and say that I am an accountant. If it is not a calculator and a computer, I'm not doing it. Avocados are very popular, are a popular import to China. And so you can produce an acre of avocado, team up with a friend who's also producing an acre, put them together and send them to China. And of course, now that becomes a deal between you and the buyer. So you can have an agreement whether he's going to pay you upfront, a percentage when it lands. Those are details that you can now explore at the point where you have made that agreement. Of course, our hospitality culture, we are known as a tourist and we are welcoming. We treat our neighbors and we treat people who come within our borders so well. We are not like other people who mistreat people who come within their borders. So Kenyans are known to be hospitable. Maintain that culture even when you are interacting with people out there. And of course, there are opportunities in tourism which you can also explore, since Asia has a very vibrant, growing economy. So there are people who now are willing to travel to see the world. So you can also venture into tourism and use various platforms to showcase what you can be able to do as a tourist. I had a friend of mine when we were in Japan. I had a friend of mine who's Kenyan. He also spoke Japanese. Actually, we went to the same school. I was second, he was first in the class. So we all had passion for Japan. So we all found ourselves in Japan. I remember he went to the leading Japanese tourist company and he knelt before the boss and told him, please allow me the opportunity to give Japanese tourists the best when they go to Africa. I will be able to organize and plan for them their tours and give them the best that they can ever have. And because of how he pleaded his case, he was given an opportunity and was employed by the leading tour company in Japan. It is called I think it is BIS. So he was employed by BIS. After working there for 1 year, he came back to Kenya And BIS gave him money to open an office. Now he is the regional manager in Africa for that company locally. So aggressive, he was just aggressive. You know, you don't want any opportunity to pass you, not because he knew anyone, but just because he was passionate on making use of the opportunity that came to his disposal. So indeed, this is the one I was telling you about, exporting avocados to China. China indeed has a very, very large and lucrative avocado market. It's a simple thing. Avocados, you just plant a tree and then the tree produces avocados. You get the right sizes and, of course, the right species of avocado. I attended that seminar, so I heard about right species. I'm not in avocado business, but I heard my friends presenting about the species of avocado and the quality and the size of the avocado and how they have been able to make it. They have become millionaires just because of exporting avocados to China. And you can never exhaust the avocado market in China. Now, for one piece of avocado, this small size, there's a small size of avocado, not these big ones from Kisii. The small size of avocado goes for almost 350 Kenya shillings. Now imagine, back in Kisii and in lowland where we come from, yes, half avocado. Back in Kisii and lowland where we come from, avocados just fall from the trees. Imagine 350 shillings are falling all over and they are eaten by animals. And somebody will have made, and I said, now people in Central Province have taken up this, and the Central Province is actually the leading exporter of avocados in the region. Yet we have people in Kisii who are growing avocados, and we have lowland where avocados are also doing well, but we are not aggressive enough to take advantage of the opportunities that are there. The other thing that is available is macadamia nuts. Macadamia nuts are also hot cake here in China. If you're willing to do those things, then please just get in touch, and I will be able to connect you with the right people, and you can also be on your way to success. So don't just close your eyes to one thing, but open up your eyes and have the desire to explore any opportunity that comes your way. The other thing that is very important when you are engaging in these businesses is to build trust and not just contacts. Build relationships. Establish relationships. I have a friend of mine that I made in 2003 when I was in Korea. He's a Korean doctor. I visited him again in 2017 when I visited Korea for the second time, 2017. We became friends. And he runs a dental clinic. It is one of the leading dental clinics in a region that is called Mokpo in South Korea. This guy, when he was overhauling and he was upgrading his clinic, he told me, Abu, I'll give you all the equipment so that you can go back to Africa and use them there. Why? Because of relationships, not just contacts. Treat people as brothers and sisters. Join diaspora groups, attend fairs. Now, here in China, they know I never miss any fair that is on. I will go to all cities and attend every fair, and I make sure I establish contacts. And some I even don't know what they're doing. I will only realize when I get to the ground. When I hear there's a fair anywhere, I will get ready to go. Because one thing, China is a manufacturing hub. Africa is a consumer economy. And so people are always just trading, buying and selling, buying, make a markup and sell. And that is how people have been able to make it. I see one thing that I learned this time when I visited back home. I visited again in October. We came here in August. October I was back in Kenya. When I visited, I boarded a plane at a place called Guangzhou, and I saw people, because of the weight limits that they have been given to carry things, they would dress up themselves in excess clothing so that they don't have to pay for excess weight. And then you get into the plane, it's almost like a changing room. People are changing. People are aggressive, and I'm wondering, what is it? What did they do? They just got a chance, bought a ticket, came here, bought things, and went back. And they're doing so well. And so all those shops that people are just buying things and selling. And so there are opportunities of business. And in China, one of the things that I have learned since we came here, we got a job without knowing anyone. It was just an opportunity that God opened for us. But China is so strong on relationships. Unless you are recommended by somebody, it is difficult just to get absorbed in any institution. And so relationships are key. So when you are working in a certain firm and you tell them that this is my friend and I know him, they will take your word for it. And so such opportunities and being friendly. Actually, I remember Paul knows that we had a neighbor who was Japanese who lived with us. There was a lady who lived with us where we lived. I was Paul's neighbor. So this lady, when I saw her and I learned that she was Japanese, we became best of friends. We're still in touch, by the way. She went back to Japan. We're still in touch. We still communicate. When her husband visited, I think last year before we left, I hosted the family because of the wife the husband is Kenyan, but the wife is Japanese, who's my friend. She said, go guys, go visit Abu. And so they came to a place, I hosted them, and we have continued enhancing that relationship. Because of relationships, you find that you have a stepping stone. You have an entry point. You know, when you go to a strange land and you don't know anybody, at least because of the relationship that you have established, you have an entry point. Same thing, we also had Chinese neighbors. And I also made sure that when I realized that we were planning to go to China, I made sure I reached out to them just to get to know. And, you know, the information they give you and the contacts they give you, you come and say, I've been sent by so-and-so. And so it helps break the ice. So it is indeed important to recognize and appreciate the fact that relationships win more contracts and deals than what emails and qualifications can do. So it is very important that we establish relationships and always be good to people. Always be good to people. And, you know, those relationships, you don't know where you're going to find them again in the future. Now, even as you do all these things, any place you find yourself, always adapt without losing your roots. Don't let your identity be swallowed up because you want to look like these people so that you can win their confidence more. No, don't lose your roots. Just be who you are. Be proud to be a Kenyan and be proud to be who you are. Actually, you will notice that my names are Abu Kathiany. Before I went to South Korea, I used an English name. Of course, my English name is not so popular, so I will not talk about my English name. But I use my English name until when I arrived in South Korea, and they told me that every time I met a new person, they thought, "Are you Black American?" because of my English name. I said, "No, I'm from Africa." And so I decided, no, let me not introduce myself with my English name. Let me introduce myself with my African names, so that in case anyone wants to find out, they will find out from my name that I really don't come from Europe or the Americas. The point is, maintain your identity. Never lose your roots. There's a reason why God established us in places where he has established us. One of the things that I also admire, and I remember, which I have mentioned here, there are many things you can learn. The good things, please learn and pick up. One of the things that I learned when I was in Japan is the discipline in time. And of course, it's the same here in China. People keep time. Systems work on time. Even the bus that passes my station at 5 minutes past 1 will always, every day, pass at 5 minutes past 1. So I will prepare myself in the house knowing that there's a bus at 5 minutes past 1. So it is very important to be able to learn the best things from people, but not giving away who you are. Now, one thing that I also appreciated, I remember, when I got the job with, when I came back from Japan and I got the job with Biofoods, when I went for my interview with Biofoods, then the general manager of Biofoods was called Binoy Zachariah. When I started telling him my journey, we put my CV aside, and he told me, Abu, you got the job. I want somebody who has experienced Asian work culture and ethic. And I was passionate about talking about Asian work culture and ethic. And it is because of that, because of equipping. Remember where we started? Equip yourself. And so I was just talking generally to him about my experience in China, in Japan and South Korea, and the things that I've appreciated. He told me, Abu, we got the job. And we just started talking about my experiences in Japan. He was so excited. He told me, no, give me 2 months. I want to sack the guy who's head of engineering. Then after 2 months, please come in. And that's how I got my first opportunity with Biofoods, because I had learned the best that Asia also offers. And so it is important to learn to appreciate other people's good cultures and good ethics while not losing your own identity. One thing that is so prevalent is because, here in China, it is difficult for foreigners to go and fellowship with the local Chinese. It's a government policy. We can't go to the same building and worship together. So foreigners, we worship in our homes. So we invite other foreigners who come to worship with us in our homes, and different congregations do the same. And so, of course, that gives others an opportunity not to go to church and to abandon church. Now they have an excuse of forsaking their religion and their faith. And of course, they start to lose their identity. So it is important just to be proud of who you are and stand for what you know. Never lose your identity. And actually, the Chinese appreciate when they see how you are going out of your way to worship. They wonder, what is it about this God that you have to lock yourself in a house, and you've been told by the government, if you even try evangelizing to a Chinese, it's a crime, you can be deported, you can lose your visa. But why are you so determined to worship? And so it gives you an opportunity to talk to somebody who has inquired the reason of your faith and of your beliefs. So it is very important for us to be able to maintain our identity. God places us in different regions, just as Esther would say, for such a time as this. Then the next thing is that it is important for us to be able to spot our niche. Spot the niche. What is What is the opportunity lying out there? Look around, get information, find out what is it, what are the needs in this place, you know? Find out from online. ChatGPT is free, and DeepSeek. We have DeepSeek over here. DeepSeek is also find out what are the opportunities that are available in different places. So sometimes, you know, you just find out just for the sake of knowledge. Knowledge is at our fingertips, and yet we are so ignorant. We will spend time in other sites which are not productive and forget the most important things that will equip us. Find out. And so it is based on that knowledge that I realize that indeed engineering and construction technology is moving to artificial intelligence. And I thought to myself, okay, this is what I'm going to do next. And so I decided to pursue that course. So it is very important that we are able to spot the niche that is, and the opportunities are there in different places. Then we can angle ourselves to take advantage of them. And of course, you know, solar is gold in Indonesia's green energy, and so solar technology is also becoming popular back home. So it is important that if somebody is interested, Indonesia is a very good place to get started. And of course, China is also very good in solar. And you realize that the technology in China is years ahead. They say that China is living in 2070 when everyone else is in 2030. So you can learn about those technologies. What can we adapt in our local home industries or in our local environment? What is acceptable? I remember a friend of mine just told me recently they have dug a borehole. And so as you were telling me now, so what best can I do with this borehole? China has developed a machine which pumps water from the borehole, purifies that water, and packages that water. It's one equipment. It pumps water from the borehole, purifies it, packages it in small bottles, and then you can just go and sell them at 20 shillings each, and make take advantage of that. Yes. One of the things that just in closing now, I will say this. One of the things that we have been troubled about is visa application. How will I get visa to go to all these places? But one thing is that China offers scholarships for many students. There are many scholarship opportunities that are offered by various campuses. You can look at those ones. Different companies are relaxing their visa rules. Canada is also doing the same because they need expatriates in different fields. So just explore, and you will find that there are indeed opportunities, even though sometimes things seem so difficult. But look at what check what you're looking for, and explore the opportunities that are being offered in various jurisdictions, and definitely God will open a way. He opens ways, and there is nothing too difficult for him. So I will stop it at that, and I will take it back to Paul.
Thank you, Abu. Thank you. It's intriguing and very informative. Yes, we've done just to whet our appetite, and people here. You can see that there are opportunities, and the common line is the common denominator is we need to be good. They will not take mediocre, and we need to be ready, creating relationships, making applications, visiting whichever places we want. And Abu, you can also put your contacts there. You said people would reach out to you. So I think because of time, I will look for somebody to give a vote of thanks, and then we can move to the next level. Dr. Melvin, are you in a position to pass a vote of thanks? Now we have.
Hello, can you see me?
Yeah. We
Yeah.
can see you. Yes, yes.
Uh, yeah. Thank you very much for this opportunity to pass a vote of thanks. So perhaps let me start with the internal team first, led by Antonia Mutunga, as well as uh, Lady Noel. I think the poetess Mora should be also be included here. And as always, finally, OPP, who week after week ensure that we have very good speakers who are here to educate us about navigating the marketplace. Today, we have been privileged to listen to a wonderful expose on the opportunities which lie in Asia, specifically in China, South Korea, and Japan. And my take home is that one needs to learn some of these languages, uh, like Mandarin, like Korean, as well as Japanese. So, but not everybody is gifted in that way, right? So if you're not very good with languages, you become very good at your craft or your business. So you become so good that you learn what is trending. You learn what is needed in that part of the world. And if you do that, you're going to be more marketable. You will improve your unique value proposition from the crowd of job seekers and business people from the rest of the world. So I can't thank Abu enough for sparing his valuable time in China to talk to us back here in Kenya. And I'm sure we have been joined by other people from other parts of the world and whose eyes have been opened, just like ours, that opportunities are available because populations are shrinking in Asia and they need solutions that we have right here. So thank you very much, Abu. We hope to hear from you again soon. And I now hand you back over to OPP. But before that, I want to thank the audience for sparing their time to be here on this call. I'm sure we have some macadamia, nut, and avocado exporters who have benefited from this talk and who will benefit from taking action. So it's not about coming here on Power Monday every Monday, but it's about taking action. Back to you, OPP.
Thank you very much, Professor. I like your professor, like the beards. Thank you, everyone. I remain yours, Tieno Paul Peter, and by the way, more about me is tienopaulpeter.com. You can check the on my personal website, and I love doing this, and I'm always excited to wake up on Monday and get started.